What's going on, everybody? All right, we are live. So as you can see, we tried something new with the intro there. Wanted to, keep promoting the brand as opposed to this generic 30-second countdown. And I figured giving it a little bit longer, it'll allow for more people to come on in. So yeah, still waiting on some people to come on in. Once we get some more people in here, we will be we'll be covering this. I think this is a good episode today. I'm working on getting the Instagram set up. I figured I'd go live from Instagram at the same time as I do this. The people on Instagram will not be able to see all the cool stuff. You guys watching this on YouTube will, or TikTok, or not TikTok, but Twitter and Twitch. So, yeah, I think we have a pretty good one today. Let's see. Hey, Luis, great intro. Your program series is evolving nicely. Thank you very much, Brett. Thank you. I appreciate that. And Brett and I actually have an interview. It will be posted sometime soon. I mean, the issue is I have so much transhumanism content that I didn't just want to bombard, my channel with just nonstop transhumanism. So I'm thinking like in March or April, our interview will go live, Brett. So I thank you very much for your comment. But yeah, so today we're going to be talking about cryptocurrency. This is the Mot Crypto show. It's originally supposed to be the Mot Finance show, but as everybody knows, my partner, co-host Malcolm, he's in the National Guard and can't attend the live streams due to his schedule. But in place of that, we do the crypto show. So let's start off with the first thing on the list for today, which I am actually really intrigued about. I've been talking about this for a while now, and I don't think it's getting enough attention. And it is this right here. So it's not necessarily this specific, entity or anything like that, but the principle behind it, right? So right here, Diem, for those who are unaware, is essentially the company, if you will, that was creating Libra for Facebook, right? So they are being dismantled. All their investments were sold. And now the crypto bank Silvergate has bought it for $200 million, right? And they, before we dive any more into this, let's just step back really quick. So Libra was going to be a stable coin by Facebook that was going to have a basket of currencies it was pegged to, in which people could, that would then keep the price stable, right? And so Diem was that entity, if you will, that was kind of creating Libra. So they said, as we undertook this effort, we actively sought feedback. We actively sought feedback from the government and regulators around the world, and the project evolved substantially and improved as a result. In the United States, a senior regulator informed us that Diem was the best designed stablecoin project the U.S. government has ever seen. Now, a lot of you may become dubious or, very suspicious of what Libra is, the stable coins, especially with U.S. regulators or U.S. government saying that it's the most impressive thing we've pretty much seen as far as stable coins go. But as I've been, theorizing, the stable coin that will last will be the one that's pegged probably mostly to the USD. I think the USD is going to help establish the most used and most known stablecoin. What that stablecoin will be, I don't know. It could be USDC. It could be the PayPal stablecoin that they're talking about coming up with. It could be Silvergate, who may start their own stablecoin now that they have the infrastructure from Diem that has essentially got the pat on the back by the government, right? So let's see here. There was another quote in here that I thought was really, really interesting. Let's see. So Mhm. Gratified that the subsequent. That's not it, I don't think. Mm. So yeah, I'm not able to find this, and I don't want to be too quiet for too long. And you guys are like, "Come on, you're supposed to have this all prepared." But right here, yeah, I'm not sure where it was in this article, but hmm, let's see those features. List issue one. Well, anyway, the thing here that I really wanted to stress was that we are seeing right now the infrastructure being built for stable coins to be pegged rather to the fiat currency of today, whether that be the USD, the yuan, right? We already know that in China, they're creating a digital yuan on the blockchain, their own private blockchain. So arguably, it's not really a blockchain, but anyway, and they are trying to minimize and completely reduce the amount of mining that takes place there and essentially create a centralized currency where they can still remain in power of their currency. I think a lot of countries are going to want to do that, and I think it's very advantageous for them to do so. I think the United States should do so. Now, mind you, I am all for decentralization. I want to be able to make transactions without a middleman involved. That's why I'm in crypto. But I'm also very realistic, and we're not going to enter in this world where everything's going to be quote unquote decentralized and there'll be no more middleman and everybody will be completely self-sufficient with their finances. That to me is a pie in the sky dream and will never happen. The reality is we will see a hybrid of the centralized finance and the decentralized finance system, and it'll give the people options to either go completely decentralized, be in that hybrid position, or rely completely on the middleman to keep their coins. I mean, for example, Coinbase has now partnered with TurboTax, not the IRS. I think I misquoted that earlier. Um, to offer returns of your taxes through Coinbase in crypto. So, right here, Coinbase and TurboTax offer tax refunds in crypto. That is now an option. So, if you file through TurboTax, you can get your refund directed to a Coinbase account. The news reflects how crypto is becoming a major part of the tax system, and this will be another huge part of of the show tonight. But right here, we're already seeing the establishment of these exchanges taking over banks. This is the evolution of banks right here, and most people are not really acknowledging it. They are too busy trying to make a lot of money in crypto, which I don't blame them. I don't blame them. I'm in crypto as well to become financially wealthy and independent. That's ultimately the goal most people are in crypto for. But there's so much else that is being created that gets overlooked far too often. And this is one of those topics, whether it be just strictly taxes or the rise of stable coins and governments essentially wanting to make their own stable coins. This is an extraordinary time which we're living through. And I think there needs to be more emphasis on the infrastructure for the hybrid system that's being created here. That's what I think is unique about the MOT Crypto show here. I'm not over here just showing you charts, talking about what I think is going to go to the moon next, or just talking about the projects that I'm involved in, which I do. MOT is very transparent with where we see crypto going and what crypto projects we like. Hex, Pulse Chain, PulseX. There's a couple other ones. that I've been keeping my eye on, and I might, I'll just say it, I might get some ridicule from the Hex community, that Richard Hart ecosystem, but the Pulse Doge, I like the Pulse Doge. I don't own any, but I think it is a. So this is what I thought. Okay, so I thought Bitcoin has Dogecoin, right? So like everybody knows about Bitcoin, but more people buy Dogecoin. And well, not everybody knows about Bitcoin, right? Actually, Malcolm and I have done some street interviews, which will be posted here, and a lot of people have bought Dogecoin before they've bought Bitcoin or even know what Bitcoin is. I believe Pulse Doge has a good potential to do the same thing on the Pulse chain, but for with Hex, right? I think Hex is the next logical step as far as crypto goes, being that DeFi is becoming such a large ecosystem within and of itself. And Hex is, in all intensive purposes, like it is true DeFi, right? And so it is what Bitcoin tried to do essentially. Um, and you can look more into that, do your own research. I'm not here to tell you to, just go in and buy Hex or whatever. I highly recommend you do your own research. This is not financial advice, but anyway, totally getting off topic from where we originally were. So the anyway, I basically think that to finish that point, Doge and Bitcoin, that relationship will be somewhat similar with Hex and Pulse Doge, but the founders and creators of Pulse Doge don't dog cryptocurrencies, and they tend to. I think they're mostly in the Richard Hart ecosystem. So that's quite interesting. But anyway, back to the point that we were discussing originally about these stable coins. So I think that there's going to be a large portion of companies, Walmart, Amazon, many others, PayPal, Cash App, that will enter the stablecoin arena and attempt to be the top dog. Because I think when it comes to stable coins, there can only be so many that are successful. And that doesn't mean there can't be a decentralized stablecoin either, right? DAI is, from my knowledge, decentralized, and it's a stablecoin. I'm not sure how that works with DAI, but it is technically a stablecoin and it's decentralized. So that news with Diem and then the crypto bank Silvergate taking it over and potentially starting their own is, really interesting. And I think that we're going to see more and more central banks creating, you know, central bank digital currency, and stable coins, and potentially pegging that CBDC, the digital dollars, to stable coins. Potentially, I don't know. That's something that I've been thinking about for quite some time. Those who follow the show, listen to what I say on TikTok and all that stuff, knows that this is something that I've been, talking about for a while now, and I feel strongly about it. That will, be the end result. Now, that's pretty much it for that portion of it. As far as that goes, I wanted to start the show that way because I figured, it's a good starting point because it sort of allows us to segue nicely into some other issues that we're facing in crypto, such as taxes, right? So, like we've already talked about Coinbase and TurboTax working together essentially, so that way they can give your tax returns in crypto if you wanted them in crypto, which is pretty cool. So let's talk about proof of stake and taxes for proof of stake. Now, before we begin that, I am not a tax advisor either. I am not a financial advisor. I am a guy just talking about my opinions on these topics for entertainment purposes. So this guy right here, Josh Jarrett, he had sent I believe, a lawsuit or something of that nature, like requesting a return on his taxes that he paid in 2019, 2020, something like that, for the state Tezo he had. So right here, I think is the most important part, and then onward. So basically, he staked his Tezo, creating new blocks and tokens, and then he was taxed for that. So there's a huge debate whether or not one should be taxed for proof of stake. Now, as somebody who's a hexagon, this is something I care about. I want to know what's real. Like, how do we work through this? Because if it gets to a point where your stakes are outpacing what you can actually make at a day job or something like that, how could you ever pay the taxes for it? It would drain you to just keep that up. And it also doesn't make sense because with proof of stake, you are staking your coins to help a network run. And by helping that network run and protecting it, you are generating new coins, right? Now, those coins can be sold for some money, right? But this would be analogous to saying, hey, you, you make tires. You made about 500 tires in a month. We need to tax you on those tires you made before you sell them. Does that make any sense? Does that make any sense to be like, hey, before you sell those tires, we got to tax them because they're valuable. There's money to be made. And so we just want to collect our taxes right now since you've already made it. Or another example would be, hey, that cake the baker made, why can't we tax that cake after it's been made? It's valuable. It has some worth. So we should be able to tax it. That doesn't make sense, right? So that's essentially the same thing that's happening with proof of stake tokens. And so who knows? Actually, I think I have an opinion as to what will happen with that. But that's essentially the issue here. But the IRS, I guess, has sent refunds to two people. To two people, it sent refunds to because they were like, hey, I don't want to pay this tax because I haven't sold it. It's unrealized capital gains. And just because the product has value and will be sold at some point potentially, and then when it's sold, it'll make money. Just because that doesn't mean you can come and tax it. It just doesn't make any sense. So I think that what will happen is, well, before I even go into that, let me just explain this. The IRS is already short staffed. The IRS is already having issues getting tax refunds back to people in a reasonable fashion. The IRS has a ton of backlogs. The IRS has been overburdened with work. The tax code is extremely complicated, and it's been in a decline for a long time. Okay, there are some people who theorize that the IRS will not be around much longer. I don't know how I feel about that. I think they'll just morph into something else, similar to what we see with crypto exchanges and traditional banking. Okay, where traditional banking and crypto exchanges are becoming one, right? So what we're going to see, I think, with the IRS is just an adjustment to how they do taxes. So if you've seen my interview with Gennady Shrolovov II, he's I believe he's the chairman of the Transhumanist Party currently. And their proposal for taxes is to just tax on sales, which to me seems to be the most fair way to do it. Because if you're really wealthy and you're buying a yacht and that tax on the yacht is 20% or whatever, you're paying your fair share, right? But then if that person who is buying, a car, a regular car, your average worker buying a car, they're going to pay 10, 15, whatever, and it's going to be proportional. Well, the taxes will be, reasonable to, their income level. It'll only be on sales. I think that's a very fair way to do it. And so they're talking about this, and I believe this will become a central point in future political debates and how we adjust tax brackets. Because as I've also mentioned, people with crypto and have done well in crypto will be the ones to control the politicians in the future. They already are. I mean, there's already PACs being made by people in crypto to support politicians who are crypto friendly. So this is already taking place. So we already see the groundwork for that. And it doesn't make sense to me that it doesn't make sense to me that we will see basically a world with cryptocurrency with these complicated and unfair taxes, especially when there's a big movement to bring more crypto supporters into Congress. So if we're going to get more supporters for crypto in Congress, it would make sense to me that we would be wanting to make it as easy as possible for people in the United States to transact in crypto. And there are some things that are being done. There's legislation right now, if I'm not mistaken, attempting to do away with small taxes on small transactions in cryptocurrency. So I think that would be pretty beneficial, because right now you make any transaction in cryptocurrency, you trade from one coin to another, that's a taxable event, right? So, I think that this crypto just throws a wrench in the financial system itself, and it's going to be hard for these tax agencies, these collection agencies, to stay with their old model. It's antiquated and it's not going to be able to keep up. It really isn't. There are people, you can. I'm not saying anybody should do this. I'm really not. But there are people who can successfully get away with not paying their taxes. I'm not saying that you should. I do not endorse that. But with the invention of cryptocurrency, it makes it easier to do so. And if you are, for instance, going to want to tax somebody on their proof of stake for, making coins, and then those coins go up a lot in value, and now they can't pay the taxes because the coins have gone up so much in value, you're going to encourage a lot of people to leave the country. You're going to encourage a lot of people to hide and probably just pay the capital gains at the time of sale. I don't know. I'm not a tax advisor. I'm not none of those things. I'm just a guy in front of a computer talking about cryptocurrency. And another thing that's going to make taxes very complicated are the transactions in the metaverse, right? So how things are, monetized in the metaverse and the transactions that'll take place there, how will that work? Who will collect the taxes? Will it be, well, the IP address is in America and you're in the metaverse using America's, infrastructure for the internet. Therefore, you pay. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work. And it's going to be and obviously, cryptocurrency is going to be the main form of currency in the metaverse. It just makes sense that it would be. So with the IRS facing all the troubles that it's facing right now, I think that they're going to ease up on the crypto taxes and make it favorable. I don't think that they want to see a mass exodus of people leaving the country potentially, which could happen, right? Because if you get enough wealthy people from crypto and they're like, I do not want to give a government that can't even manage the funds that they print 30-40% of my money, that doesn't even make sense. Why would you do that, right? So I truly think I truly think that it'll all work out in our favor in the end. I really do. Um, so yeah, that's it for like the tax portion and everything. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. You know what you guys think. Do you think that taxes and stuff like that will get easier for people in crypto? Always around tax season, I get a little nervous now since I'm in cryptocurrency. I'm like, am I gonna have to pay a shit ton of taxes? Like, I'm very honest and very open. I tell my accountant this is what I have, and he's good at what he does. So, I trust that it's all going smoothly. But I've never had to pay an absurd amount of taxes, fortunately. Um, Probably because I'm a holder. I'm a hodler. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like my wife and I were talking the other day, and my wife even understands that concept, and she does nothing with investments. I'm the one who takes care of all of that. And she understands the concept that in order to see your investment grow, you need to hold it for a few years. And so she's further ahead than a lot of these crypto people. That's all I'm saying there. Um, but yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. And this is nothing new either. Like there have been people who have predicted the collapse of our income tax system back in 2003, 2004, right? So this has been a topic that's been talked about since I was in elementary school. So, I mean, it's uh, it's almost inevitable that it had to change, right? It is inevitable. It isn't almost. It is inevitable that the system had to change because of new ways of living. Now, I guess no, I won't even go on that little tangent. I was going to go on a little tangent about change. People say change is the only constant. I don't agree with that at all. I don't. So, yeah. I mean, the truth doesn't change. The truth remains the same. Anyway, the sun comes up every morning, the moon comes up every night. Pretty constant. Oh, but Luis, it changes between nighttime and daytime. But it's a constant thing that doesn't change. It's a pattern that doesn't change. Anyway, so yeah, but in our society, there's a lot of things that look like they change, but they don't really change. I mean, like cryptocurrency. Oh wow, it's a decentralized form of money, but so were seashells, right? I mean, so because I mean, nobody controlled all the seashells, like the ocean. It's like just in the ocean. So rocks, like who's over there? Like let's just make a bunch of rock. Like, I mean, anyway, so it's just fitting our times is what's taking place with cryptocurrency. Anyway, on a totally different note here, let's switch over to the other topic that I had for you guys today. It is about NFTs. All right, so right here, Cameo. If you guys are unfamiliar with Cameo, it is that company, that business where you can hire um, actors, famous people, people with large followings to promote whatever you want them to promote, right? And so now they're launching an Ethereum NFT Pass with expanded celebrity access. So I think this is going to be the biggest, biggest utility for a while for NFTs. are these passes. I mean, look at what Gary Vee has done, right? Him and his partners for that restaurant, right? Like you get this NFT, then you get access to this restaurant, many other cool things. And so with this, you will get access to various benefits such as events. You scroll down here, and it goes a little more into detail. So it'll be $528. Um, let's see. The passes feature new artwork from Doodles, artist Burnt Toast. Doodles is a pretty big NFT project that's done really well. I don't know how it's doing right now, but it has done well. The other thing that you'll get access to will be, live and online events. And including parties at the Cameo house in Beverly Hills, meet and greet opportunities, online Q&A. So you're going to get a lot of access to celebrities and stuff like that, and networking events. It looks like so that's pretty cool if you're into that kind of stuff. When I read about that earlier today, I was like, man, maybe I should just buy that and hold it, never use it because I don't give a damn about any of that stuff. But I'm sure it'll be valuable. Just imagine, being able to hold that and then hand it down to your kids. And they would experience the same benefits that you experienced. This is assuming not the exact the same experiences either, right? But similar, right? But this is assuming that the project will still be around, the company will still be around when you can pass it down. But I think there's going to be a lot like that. So, for instance, there are people who will join country clubs because their families have always been members of that country club, but they might have to pay their own dues and stuff like that. But if you were handed an NFT and that NFT was for a country club, you wouldn't necessarily have to pay the dues for it, right? You would just inherit the NFT, you would inherit the membership. And this is going to be true for a lot of other industries. And so I think this is a pretty cool idea. I really do. I think NFTs really have a place in the future, whether it be through like certifications, degrees, diplomas, passes, QR codes, stuff like that. There's a lot of use cases for NFTs, in my opinion. Now, there are a lot of NFTs that, like your PFPs, your profile pictures or whatever, that are complete garbage and scams. This is true in crypto, though, right? But the thing with NFTs is the marketing you hear all the time, and this is probably true for crypto as well. But the marketing you hear all the time for NFTs is that it's on the blockchain, it's immutable, it's good. But in reality, most things on most things that are NFTs are not on the blockchain. They are on interplanetary file servers, I think is what they're called, which means that they are, on this basically federated or centralized, whatever you want to call it, system, server network, right? And that's where you get your 404 errors from. There's been a lot of people who purchase NFTs and then they get 404 errors because all they're given to is a hyperlink to the actual image itself. They don't actually own anything. They own data, the hyperlink, that then sends them to another server that then actually has what they think they purchased, but they didn't really purchase. And that's most of NFTs. But there are some NFTs. I'm not even saying that Cameo NFT is going to be a good one. I'm not. I am simply saying that the idea itself is going to work. I think in the future, I think now, I think it's going to be a tried and true way to launch NFTs in the near future, right? So that's all I'm saying. And once again, not financial advice. Do your own homework, have your own opinions, etc. Now, getting on to some other interesting stuff here. Right here, guys. We've been covering this basically since the beginning. PulseX sacrifice 1,013,820,733. Insane, guys. insane how much money has been sacrificed for PulseX. For those who are unaware of what PulseX is going to be the decentralized exchange on Pulse Chain. It'll have essentially no gas fees. I mean, it's like fractions upon fractions of a penny to do a transaction on Pulse Chain on the test nets at the moment. Not only that, you will be getting your pair, your whatever, right? Your ERC20s will be duplicated on the PRC20s. Therefore, you get your free pair to enter in liquidity pools, become a liquidity provider rather. And you don't get that anywhere else. This is the first time it's ever happened. And the fees that you get off of volume and stuff like that are higher than any other decentralized exchange. There's a buyback function based on the number of people who actually are, doing transactions. So the volume that you get, it's all based on that. So yeah, I mean, $1 billion. This is huge. This is huge. And this will be on Pulse Chain. So Pulse Chain isn't live yet. So this obviously isn't live yet. But yeah, guys, like that's really cool, I think. I'm really pumped about it. I was a PulseX sacrificer. I was a Pulse Chain sacrificer. Pulse Chain, I sacrificed the first day. PulseX, I sacrificed after the mini pump in Hex, because I did not do what I did originally, or I did not do what I did for Pulse Chain, which was sacrifice the first day, which is kind of the best move, right? So with PulseX, it was similar because the price had gone up so much that you could have had double, depending on where you bought. But anyway, basically could have had double the sacrifice had not timed it, but did exactly what I did last time with Pulse Chain. And then with Hex, you can see the banner below. Last time we checked, it's at 19 cents. Bitcoin has gone up quite a little bit. Ethereum's almost at $3,000 again. T-share is still worth more than an Ethereum, so that's really cool. But yeah, guys, so that's pretty much all I had for today. This one's not going to be an hour long. I thank you all for showing up. Please be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, share this to friends and family who you think will find this valuable. And Sunday, we'll be here, Mick and I, for MOT Today. Next Friday, we'll be back. And don't forget, guys, MOT Sports is now going to be live every Thursday, 8 p.m. So get ready for that. All right, guys. Much love. Thanks for showing up. Peace.